A lot of times on social media, when things happen, people get mad at me because I don't jump off the boat. I don't go off the deep end like they do. I don't get heavily invested in my emotions because I'm a thinking man. And we have lost the art of thinking in society. People regurgitate false narratives. They take stuff, whatever fits their belief, and run with it. And I'm just sitting back. Let me look at the facts. Let me be reasonable. Critical thinking, deductive reasoning, rationale. You know, these are skills that you have to build. It's not natural. You have to build and work on it. And a lot of people don't do that. Now, that's not to say that when things happen in this country, especially to Black Americans, that I don't feel a way initially. I do, because I'm human. But I have to put my feelings aside and say, hey, what am I really looking at? What are the facts? Not the assumptions. What are the facts? Okay, let me look at the evidence, the verifiable evidence, and see where it's leading me. Let me not lead myself, because if I lead myself, I'm priming my thought process to see things a certain way. And I don't want to prime my thought process. So I see the noise. When I see things pop up, I investigate it. I start tracing sources. I start looking and saying, how credible is this? And I'm thinking, and the wheels are turning. And everybody wants to look at the obvious face. And I'm like, okay, let me turn this cube, because this is three-dimensional. It's not a square. It's not a 2D square. It's three-dimensional. It's a cube. Let me turn this cube all the way around and look at all the different faces of it and investigate it. So a lot of times when I look at situations, to me, it's like solving a Rubik's Cube. You're turning and twisting and doing all these combinations to try to get the perfect picture, to try to solve the riddle. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people look at stuff in a 2D aspect. It's not three-dimensional. There's no depth. It's all on a flat surface, right? And I'm trying to get them away from that thought process. So I have feelings, I have thoughts, but I have a process I go through, and I say, hey, let me think. Let me meditate. Let me do some research. Let me read up on this. Let me try to become knowledgeable. Let me not go with the obvious. If it's a situation between Black Americans and white Americans, let me not run with what everybody else wants to run with. Because I feel if I run with a narrative and it's wrong, I feel like that is doing more damage than good. And I will feel responsible for the role I played in that. Whatever the side effects of that are, people's lives are at stake. People's livelihoods are at stake. And I feel bad for that. So I don't want to just jump out there and call people names or make them seem to be something that they're not, especially if I don't have proof. Because I keep trying to tell people we're coming to an age where defamation lawsuits are going to start coming out. People are going to start being held accountable for what they put on social media. And they should be, because it's out of hand. People like to, especially in the age of content monetization, people like to take stuff and run with it or post stuff for engagement and clicks and views that are baseless, but they know they have audience for it. And the one thing I ask about all these people when they get out here and push these narratives and run with this story, run with that story, and they're talking about who's the victim and who's not, I say, okay, you're putting all this stuff out there really to make money and you want attention. How much of that money is going back to these people that you claim were done wrong? Post your receipts. People got mad at me when I was talking about LeVar Ball a long time ago, and I said he was a clown because of his antics and the way he represented himself. A lot of times, like the way he talked, I didn't like it. I said that the Triple B, I said it's a joke. Big baller brand. I said that sounds like something that might have been cool in '92, but that's not going to fly now. They said I was being derogatory. I was being mean. I said that brand, he's trying to charge $400 for some sneakers that have no backing. No backing. They haven't been tried, cited, whatever else. I'm not going to jump out there and spend X amount just because he's Black. For what? They called me part of the problem. But when I told those same people to post their receipts, I said, well, show me the big baller brand gear that you've bought. Nobody posted it. The same with Umar Johnson. I called him out a long time ago about his school. And when he first come out, just like with a lot of things, I start off supporting people. I give them the benefit of the doubt. But when I start seeing certain things and my antenna start going up, I have to redirect my attention. I say, wait a minute, I'm seeing red flags. So when I called him out for his antics in the school, again, people was on my head. I said, okay, well, post your receipts. Show me how much money you've donated to this school. Show me how much money you've donated to the cause. Nobody posted any receipts. So you got all this support for Big Baller Brand and for Umar Johnson. You got all this support and all this kickback, but you haven't put $1 of your money towards any of it. That means you all talk. Because the things that I believe in and I really support, I put my money behind, and I have receipts, and I can show you where I donated money and where I did this and where I did that. So it ain't nothing fake about me. But they get on there and they run their mouth, right? We got to get past that. We got to get past labeling people as a problem just because we don't agree with their personal ideology, even if it's not hateful. It's cautious. I proceed to do things with caution because I recognize how damaging bad information can be to society, especially when it gets caught in that echo chamber where people just repeating the same bad rhetoric back and forth over and over amongst each other, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And what happens is it creates a mentality that once the facts come out in situations and the facts do not align with what you've been telling yourself and all the false narratives and everything else that you've believed, people cannot simply come back and say I was wrong. They have to say, oh, well, I was right, I just can't prove it. They sabotaged it. They did this. So you walk away from the situation in a worse state than when you walked in, because your brain would not allow you to say, you know what, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I mishandled this. You're going to go to sleep at night saying I was right. They sabotaged it. You know, it's a cover up. The media didn't do what they were supposed to do. They twisted reality when the real reality benders were you. And when these people start coming after you for the things that you're saying and doing online, you won't have a leg to stand on. Also, I try to tell people that the same people like to switch their principles and morals because they don't have a solid ground to stand on. So depending on how they feel about a situation, their morals change. I say, well, hey, that's cool that you feel like that, but when the shoe is on the other foot and is your family involved, what you don't realize is that you are setting traps today for your kids tomorrow. You are setting traps today. You are laying the foundation for the frameworks of a thought process that's going to come back and be far more damaging to you and your people than it is to the others. That's why I don't engage in it, because I understand the ramifications of setting dangerous precedents. And I understand that the rope that you give for your enemy to be hanged will often be the same rope that is used to hang you. The traps you set for other people will be the same traps that you fall victim to. And I try not to do that. But you got to have a high degree of restraint to be able to not get in your feelings and just regurgitate it online. I meditate. That's why a lot of times when things happen, I might not speak on it for 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, 2 weeks. You know, I'm not a person that, oh, this is a hot button topic because it's trending. Let me jump on that without being knowledgeable about certain things, and everybody's just jumping out there with their feelings. I'll sit back. By the time I speak on it, it might not be at a point of relevance anymore, but I'm going to speak with clarity and conviction. I'm not just going to see something knee jerk. Let me turn this mic on and let me talk. Let me get my fingers activated. I don't do that. So I'm very slow. And some people take that silence as, oh, he doesn't want to say this. He doesn't want to, he doesn't care. No, my silence is not a lack of caring. My silence is me caring enough to do justice to the situation by not jumping out there with all these false equivalences and narratives, and me trying to be a measured man when I speak, so that when I speak, I only have to speak one time, because whatever I said it. Because I wrote it down, I looked at it, I read it, regurgitated it over and over and over again to myself and thought about it. I said, okay, now when I speak, I know what I'm saying. I don't have to backtrack, because I don't like to backtrack. People be so quick to put stuff out there, then as proof and other things come back, they have to backtrack, or they have to, it's like telling a lie. You got to keep digging. The lie just keep getting worse and worse and worse because you can't face the music. So that's what that is. Learn to think. Learn to not be reactive, but think. Really sit down and do solid thinking and ask yourself a lot of questions and try to turn that cube and look at all the sides before you speak. Because a lot of times you're doing more damage than good to the same people that you claim you're trying to protect.
The truth does not require you to like nor accept it. It can be tough and uncomfortable, existing on its own merit, independent of your feelings and residing outside the frameworks of your mind. For some, the truth is freedom, and to others, confinement.